Today I'm setting up some Facebook and Google ads for a metal fabricator in Australia. This metal fabricator specializes in manufacturing trade service bodies, so ute and truck service bodies for tradies. This has actually been a client of mine for over 10 years. What a story. Metal fabricator that ventured out and bought additional companies that specialize in trade service body manufacturing. So today I am going to share my screen and show you my quick workflow. This is basically the big picture of setting up a Facebook ad, how to create the copy, how to create the landing page and what kind of text we're going to put onto the landing page. If you don't know what I do, my name's Eugene and I build and rank hundreds of websites. I run a lot of Facebook ads and Google ads with over 20 mil spent in the last 15 years. And I still progress about 800 of my own personal sites through the ranks. I enjoy doing it. These are lead gen sites. They're also sites that power up my current client campaigns, as I look after quite a few of those. So today I have just finished setting things up. For the sake of this exercise, I'm going to use a fictional website that I found in America that does pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to be using them as an example, as if I'm creating ads for them. So the goal, of course, with Facebook ads is leads. We want people to inquire and find what we do, inquire and get a quote, book a job. Now, this particular space, we're looking for tradies, electricians, plumbers, builders, fleet operators, where they have multiple trucks on the field. The two types of ads that we're going to run are ads that intrude on somebody's time, Facebook ads, and then react on someone's request, Google ads. Somebody's looking for something, they're going to type it into Google, they're going to search for it in AI, we want to show up. So we're not going to be talking about too much of SEO, but for the last 10 years we've been running an SEO campaign for them as well with great results. This particular one is only talking about mostly Facebook ads, which helps us create the landing page. So I will share my screen and show you the processes. Just very quickly, I wanted to explain what's a non-negotiable with all of my campaigns these days. Now, I have been doing this for 15 years. I'm going to be running through this very fast, but it is extremely important to start off with brand foundational documents. I would sit the client down, interview them, I'd record the interview, and I would pull the transcript, very easy to organize. And I will have my copywriters and essentially write a really detailed sort of source of truth about the brand, about the journey. And this goes in towards what I call EEAT, which is experience, expertise, trust, and authority, which are a very important aspect of Google's algorithm. Same with Bing, same with AI. You want to prove trustworthiness very quickly. I'm going to be talking about the creation of ideal client personas, and also in between the brand foundation and ideal client personas is the tone of voice, words we do use and words we don't use. Now, these days, these documents are essential in loading into ChatGPT or Claude or a project or whatever tool of the trade that you're currently using. Previously, these documents would be given to a copywriter, someone that's going to be creating text for the site. So I'll run you through how I create those. I've been doing this for a long time and I've got agents that do certain things, but for many years I did this manually. It's one of those things when you've seen the tiler quickly crack a tile right in the right place, or the painter or the plasterer, and they're just a professional in their field because they've just done that stroke a million times. We're going to create some foundational Facebook ad copy, some landing page copy, some Google ads copy. Look, I'm not going to dive into the Google ads interface. It's really straightforward, but I will comment on how I'm going to make the landing page and how I'm leveraging AI image creation, where we do start with some foundational professional photography and videography, and then we use AI to place our subjects, our service bodies in front of various locations around Australia, around Melbourne or Sydney or wherever we are. So first thing is first is what I'm going to actually do is talk about something that is a non-negotiable, and that is these foundational documents that talk about the tone, the vocabulary, what is used, proof of work, proof of trust, how long you've been in the business. And so for the sake of this exercise, I found a few trade service bodies in America. I have no association with them. I've just found them and I'm using them as examples. And so what I've done is the very first thing that I do, I would meet with the client, I would interview them. For the sake of this quick exercise, I've just loaded their website into a custom GPT that I have created. And this custom GPT just goes ahead and creates some really baseline about us text about the business. So let me see, I'm going to move my big head down here so you guys can see. I've just loaded one of the sites that I found at the top. I don't really know anything about them. Now, very important, I am using a tool called Firecrawl MCP because on its own, Claude and ChatGPT is horrible at actually reading the site that you give it. It will hallucinate. It will try and pull the SEO title, meta description, and just wing it and just make shit up. Okay, don't let it do that. Make sure it actually crawls the site. Pay for this tool. I'm not an affiliate or anything. And so what it did, it visited the home page, and a lot of the time I'll force it to visit the About Us page, and it created some very basic About Us text. Arguably, this text is already far better than the text on the site. Which one was it? Was it this one? They don't even have an About Us on the header. They don't even have it in the footer. So already this text, a lot of the time, is already far more superior than the text on the sites, because the way I create this text is I feed Google's patents and Google's guidelines on what is quality content, how they rate high quality content into Google. So we have who we are, who we help, the problems we solve, our real world experience, so problems, who we help, who we are, our expertise, right? We're talking about all of these things that are ticking the boxes with the AI crawlers, with search engines and search algorithms. Keep in mind that ChatGPT is using the Bing index quite a lot. It's Microsoft, and of course Gemini is Google, and Google is one of the main ones that's used by Perplexity and Claude and things like that. They'll use a blended sort of crawl. So it looks at recognitions and accountability, right? I don't know any of this stuff because it's from America. Preferred Ford Pro upfitter, okay, some sort of a trademark. So it's picked up all of this kind of stuff. Trust and transparency, how to get in touch with them, how to work with them. So basically drawing it out in crayon words for the user, who these guys are, what they do, what their journey is. This is already a far superior bit of text than their homepage even, let alone their About Us page, which I couldn't find. United States in 1971. So chances are they probably don't need me. They don't need SEO. They've been around since 71, right? They've probably got their clients coming back to them. Now create the writing tone. Now behind each and every one of these, forgive me if I haven't been clear, there's an agent with strict instructions based on my 15 years of experience on doing this, on how to write, how to create the AI, the avatar, right? Mike Reynolds, I don't know if that's the person, it's just found it. Mike Reynolds has spent more than 25 years working around blah, 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 blah. It talks about the tone, core voice, what words we're using, what words we're not using. Now, this is a very rushed job generation. Once again, I would meet the client, I would interview them, or I would send them a list of questions. They would smash out, either send me like a 2-hour audio recording, which I would then transcribe. This is a very rushed job, but you're seeing it will talk about the sentences we use, the vary rhythm naturally, language styles, storytelling approach, talking about experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, writing examples, right? So we're basically creating the fundamental structure of how we want text to be created, whether it's building the website, building the landing page, building the ads. And so it leans on these. Do not use exaggerated marketing claims. Do not use frames like industry leading. So fluffy. Overused technical jargon. Sound corporate or overly formal, right? So it's identified that based on my custom GPT, based on my instructions, and don't use filler words. Don't use prohibited terms that AI loves to use. Tailored, bespoke, navigating, right? All of the stuff that AI uses. Now, this is arguably the most important bit. It is the ICP, ideal client persona. Once again, this is a very quick generation of it. The ones that I generate are like 25 pages, and this essentially looks at 3 core segments for any particular client that I look after. Now, there's generally more segments, but these are the core ones that I check with the client. I say, hey, these are your clients, agreed. These are who you service. In this case, the core segments were segment A, fleet operation leaders. Obviously, company owners or directors that are looking to deck out their tradies with fleet solutions where they buy 10 cars, 20 cars. It might be Victoria Trams, or it might be Metro Tunnel, or whatever it is. You know, those fleet trucks with the same signage and they all look like they're on brand. So segment A, which I agree with, this is the most desirable segment to go after for someone that manufactures these truck service bodies. Why this segment? The website strongly emphasizes fleet deployment. Ford Pro partnerships, GM shipped through scalability, so that it's built into it. Segment B, service and trade business owners. Of course, plumbers, electricians. Segment C, utility and, I don't know what that word is, fleet managers. Detailed avatars. Fleet operations leader. Here we go. Jason Martinez, right? It's even picked it up that we're in America. Director of fleet operations, background, employees, how many vehicles, multi-location operations. This is our ideal client persona. Do you agree? His goals and motivations are to reduce fleet downtime, improve technician productivity, standardized vehicles, pains and challenges, delayed vehicle deliveries. So these are all the pain points that I would check with the client and go, hey, I would get these from the client. I've generated these because I've just done this so many thousands of times, but I would, of course, get them to comment, add additional ones, and so forth. Topics of interest. Now, that's avatar number 1. Long tail questions that they might use to search into Google. So if I was to create SEO articles, how do I standardize service trucks across multiple branches? What is the best service body for utility fleets? So I'd be covering these in depth with either sales pages, if these are commercial intent, bottom of the funnel keywords, or informational blogs that answer these queries. I would be getting in front of the camera with the client and recording answers to these questions. Then we move over to avatar number 2, which is service and trade business owner, 5 to 50 employees, 2 to 20 trucks, owner operated or family owned regional service areas, right? His goals: complete more jobs, grow revenue, improve technician efficiency, reduce truck replacement frequency, right? Pains, topics of interest. This is quite a rough generation of it, but I'm just showing you what will help us create ads at scale once this is resolved. So the next bit, this is obviously quite deep. So you'll create these 3 documents. You'll load them as an MD file, which is a markdown file, which is the file that, well, one of the lowest files for AI to read without consuming too many tokens. But if you load this into a PDF, it will read it as well. So then I've created a different agent. Now, there's a million ways to make Facebook ads. Every month I evolve my processes, now create some baseline Facebook ads. So it's going to take into account everything upstairs, everything above. I don't like continuing the chat here. I've just done this for the sake of this exercise to demonstrate the way I would personally normally do it. Is I would create a folder in ChatGPT or Claude or whatever your tool of the trade is. I personally bounce between Typing Mind. I bounce between ChatGPT projects and Claude depending on what I'm doing. Much of a muchness, they're all as good or as shit as your baseline prompts and instructions, right? So Facebook ads, this is a Facebook ad copy creator 3.0. This is my sort of latest evolution of a general Facebook ad creation GPT. It goes quite detailed. I have ones for electricians, ones for plumbers, and ones for every niche, tree removalists and things like that. So it's just loop back around with the brand and the kind of audience that it's talking to. It's generated 10 hooks. Your technicians aren't losing time. Your technicians aren't losing time on the job. They're losing it in the truck. That's pretty cool, right? How much productivity is hiding inside your current service body setup? Now, these are hooks, right? So if you're getting in front of a camera, you might say that on the camera, or you might use that as the opening hook on the ad. That hooks the user. It might be one of the tile Instagram posts where people need to swipe left, etc. 10 headlines. Service bodies that work as hard as your crew. Ooh, I love that. I use the one, I think on the site, I use service bodies that work as hard as you do. Get more from every work truck, reduce downtime, improve productivity, built for demands of the job site. How good is that? It's basically taken everything that we've created upstairs and generated this stuff, all from these current workflows. Short primary text options. Your technicians spend enough time solving problems. They shouldn't waste time searching for tools and equipment. So really short variation, long variation. So there's enough here. At phase 1 of Facebook ads, this is already plenty, because the first version of the Facebook ad is trying to understand what sticks. Okay, so Facebook ad library. I skipped this part, but because I just know all of the competitors, I know what I would do. But you'd go to United States, or you'd go to all, and you type in trade service body. I'm sure there's ads in this space somewhere in the world right now. Trade service body. I don't know what I'm about to find. I don't know what I'm about to see. Okay, this is not it. This is basically anyone that's not it. United States. I should have been a bit more prepared for this, but maybe, what do they call them in America? Service bodies. Steel service. Let's just grab that. Steel service body. It's pretty niche. Surely we can find some stuff. Oh my God, no. Here we go. New England Truck Solutions. So basically you would go ahead, it was 16,000 results. That just means that this term is used more than just what we think it's used for. Yeah, it's very broad. Look, you'd spend some time properly dissecting competitors. Here we go. Joe Ward, Ford, dual bed. Okay, so you'd go and deconstruct competitors. I should have come prepared, but you'd go pull apart competitors. I just don't need to do that because I know what we're going to be running. For the sake of this exercise, the next phase, now that we have some text, some hooks, is I'm just going to grab one of these images. Once again, this is not my image. This is not I'm not in any way associated with them. But what you would do, you would pay a photographer, videographer to come out and do a shoot that properly captures these vehicles, these beauties in high quality. You can definitely do it from your phone and just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, place this vehicle in front of a well-known Melbourne location, make aspect ratio 16:9. I didn't do much, and we're getting quite a good return. Now, would I run this? Probably not. I would spend more time putting some well-known brands, putting some things that we're allowed to use, finding some locations, probably putting the business owner to stand in front of the utes. I'd spend more time obviously creating this, which is what we've done. I've also gone ahead and created some AI voiceover scripts that will be layered over a video, which is over a period of time. We captured like 7 or 8 service bodies. And so we're cycling through them as a typical real estate video. And over the top, there will be an AI voice. But I'm going to keep going down this angle, and I'll return to that in a second. We'll actually go ahead and ask it to make it. So we've got call to actions. Talked about the brand and story angle. We've got about 10 unique directions for the Facebook ad copy. Now, with the Facebook ads, there are 2 ways we're going to run it. We are going to simply grab what I normally do is a lot of my service sales landing pages look pretty similar. So let's just humor the situation. If I was to run a Google ad for these guys, I would duplicate the homepage. I would rewrite the text. America's work truck, made for the way you work. That's really cool, but needs to have a really cool, quick call to action. Lots of trust signals, who they work with. This is great. Look at this video. I'd literally run this as the Facebook ad as well. You could, using these clips, you can do a voiceover where it introduces all of the talking points. Look, my landing pages would look a bit different. I would hide the menu because it is a funnel page. I would add like a unique permalink. I will de-index that permalink so it's not actually shown in Google anywhere. It's not indexed. And I would make a Facebook ads landing page and a Google ads landing page separate. I would place the form, which I hope is here. No form, somewhere further up. So it's really quick and easy to inquire. Once people have realized maybe they already know who you are and they just want to inquire straight away, they've come through the landing page for some reason. So grab the home page, duplicate it, rewrite the text, simplify the text so it's not a wall of text. Your SEO pages and sales landing pages are very different. With the Google ad, the main keyword has to be in the H1 and the supporting keywords in the H1 and H2 preferably. Google Ads algorithm is still quite dumb, and it judges what's called a keyword quality score based on just the keyword in the H1. I've seen this play out. Obviously, it will take into account how users navigate through your page. If we're running an ad for the term mouse, I'm trying to sell the gaming mouse, but most people might be looking for the marsupial mouse. The engagement is going to be all over the place. So it needs to match the intent of the key term. So if it's Ute service body, you better be saying Ute service body in the H1. You better be showing Ute service bodies and then diving into how experienced you are at making these. So if I go further down, we've got, I've got a Facebook ad. Now, if Ogilvy, Kennedy, Schwartz, and a whole bunch of other copywriters, I went essentially and grabbed all of their sort of styles, the way they make, and also blended it with the way I make ads and the way I've seen ads perform for me personally. So this just went ahead and created slightly different variations. Please send the offer URL or brief of the ad. It actually didn't even do it. This is what happens when you keep chatting with it. It just loses context what's upstairs, like even though you've got so much stuff. So it actually didn't do what I asked it to do. But in this case, now create a landing copy for this page for this. But funny enough, it actually created the... What? Look how stupid... I don't use ChatGPT for this site. At the top here, oops, I gave it this website, right? If the further down we went, the more it disconnected and lost the context. This is why I'd never actually do this on a single chat. I would, one, create a project. In that project, name things correctly, put the about us, the tone of voice, and ICP. This thing went and somehow started creating a landing page text for a completely separate brand. Look, it went to these guys all of a sudden. That's hilarious. Anyway, it created a landing page for a competitor. Please tell me I'm wrong. No, sorry, it didn't. It didn't. It just visited them as one of the first ones. Forgive me. Sorry, ChatGPT. You got it right. It saw it as a competitor. Okay, so we compared H1 service truck bodies that help your crew get more done. That's pretty good. So your landing page will have that as the H1. Your truck gets your team to the job. The right service body helps them finish it faster. Since 1971, Royal Truck Body has been blah, 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 blah. And then you got your call to action. I'm making this look extremely easy. And it is when you've done it for so many years. I hope this helps you, and I hope this video gets you caught up to. I hope this video gives you 15 years of my experience, and it helps you make these ads. So we've got now some landing page copy. Now, for the sake of shits and giggles, now go ahead and make me a 1-minute script so I can make a voiceover. Now, I'm going to write that, and I saw this video here. So hypothetically, I want to make a voiceover for this.
Hey, get up here.
Oh, this is already quite good.
You got it, boss. I felt so good.
What a great video, right? But maybe you might want to make a variation where you're actually talking to the camera. Okay, so we've got a very basic script. I don't know how this is going to sound. Your truck gets your crew to the job, but the right service body helps them get the job done. Nice. So this is talking to the decision maker, the business owner, right? So now I've gone into 11 Labs and I've found Lee, the middle-aged Australian male, and I've loaded that audio. I have no idea what it's about to create, but let's give it a shot. Let's turn the volume up and...
Your truck gets your crew to the job, but the right service body helps them get the job done. Every day, technicians lose time searching for tools, digging through equipment, or working out of a truck that was never built around how they actually work.
How good is this?
Those minutes add up. They affect productivity, downtime, and the number of jobs your team can complete. At Royal...
You get it, right? You now download this, put it over the top of your video that you're going to get created professionally. Look, you can use AI for all this stuff, but it's If you're manufacturing something as serious, these truck bodies, pay a videographer. Do that at least the foundational shoot, capture a few service bodies, right? Create a voice with AI. Bonus points if you don't use any of this AI stuff and you actually get the founder in front of the camera to demonstrate each of the service bodies that you've just got out the door. That's the best thing to do. Mic them up. I'm sure they're passionate enough and they're the ones that created it. They'll hear it in their tone. I've just worked with hundreds of clients that have given me nothing. They were too busy to get in front of the camera, too busy. Even if I was to film it for them for free, they're still too busy. So that's why I had to, after scraping the bottom of the barrel for so many years, just force myself to generate high quality ads with minimal interaction from the owners. And that's a lot of the time what's helped me succeed, is that I just drive the ship and I do whatever I need to do to get them leads. So what have we done? We've gone through, we've created the tone, we've created ideal client personas, fleet manager, contract Chris, procurement Paula, Facebook ad structure, we created hooks, we created headlines, primary text, right? We had these angles that we're gonna test: productivity, downtime, durability, fleet standard, contractor growth. We created some real ad copy examples. Your technicians aren't losing time on the job, they're losing it in the truck. True, right? Landing page structure, H1 with subheading, product and solution, how it works, industry served, problem, agitation, benefit section, true. So this is landing page 101. You deconstruct any experienced landing page that's been out for a decent brand with an agency that's been doing this for a while, and you're going to have these sections, give or take. Google Ads, look, I didn't want to actually dive into any of the interfaces, but let's, for the sake of this exercise, this stuff these days is quite simple. We're going to set up a new campaign. We're going to hit leads, and there's two types of leads that we're going to generate. Leads that are coming through the landing page, in which case we need to have conversion tracking set up with the tracker pixel. This is where I love to use unique forms, unique landing pages, and unique phone numbers, right? Now, leads through the app, meaning it pops up with a message to take their details then and there, I would create lots of friction questions, because you're going to get idiots that will fill out that form. You want to avoid one-click fill out, right? With the ad, the first ads that I'd be firing up would be quite broad. I personally would start by just targeting the geolocation, 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers. In this case, I'd be targeting males, but I'd be firing off a broad campaign and see what converts. Facebook these days needs 50 conversions, 50 people that filled out the form to really understand who's our ideal client. But what I'll also do is I will go to the WordPress website, download the thousands of inquiries that we've had in the past, and potentially load them up as a lookalike audience. So basically, I will have 1,000 emails of genuine people that inquired, and I will load that into Facebook and say, hey, Facebook, find me more people like these. If they have a Facebook account created with that particular email, it will pull them into a bucket of all people that need a service body, and it will find me more people like that. Okay, so let's go through it. Auction, campaign type, campaign budget. I'd normally use ad set budget so I can fiddle with it. Now, no, Facebook. Now, most of the time, I'm actually just disabling crap that I don't want Facebook to use our budget on. I don't want Advantage Plus. I'll switch all of that off. Initially, I will just limit it ability, and I will create variations. I'm not going to run it on that. Maximize the number of conversion leads. So high quality leads, there'll be less leads, but there'll be a high quality. Advantage off. Locations, I'll just do, look, if you serve, basically we want to reduce the audience size as much as possible. The way I want you to look at Facebook ads is you probably don't have millions of dollars we're going to spend. So imagine you are on a beach, and that beach is filled with 1,000 people on that beach, and your budget, your daily, genuinely can only hit 5 people a day. It's going to take us a long time to really show our ad in front of all the people. So wouldn't we want to just know which part of the beach the tradies are at, the men are at, and just advertise to them? So initially you want to get this down to, if you're spending $10, $20, $50 a day, you really want to get this down to a couple of 100,000, not much more as an initial one. Look, you probably can go further. There's no wrong or right answer with this. There is throw some shit at a wall and see what sticks. The only thing that is a non-negotiable is conversion tracking should be set up, making sure your functionality in your form actually works. You get the lead then and there. So I'd start with maybe 5 questions on the form itself. This is just a demo account. It's not a legitimate account, so I don't have any examples to set you up. But I'd run maybe 5 videos and 5 images. I used to split up the images and videos into separate ad groups. Literally every month, things change and we change. There's no wrong or right answer to do it. There is just, once you have data, you pivot based on that data. Once you have 3 months of data, 6 months of data, you see the kind of people that actually inquire. You'll know that, okay, it's a male, it's in their 40s. Maybe it's the female. Maybe she's the EA, she's the receptionist. Maybe those are the ones that we need to target. So the data will tell you what it wants, what's working. Right? You can always run a report. You can export that report into ChatGPT. You can also just connect something like Manus. Just question everything that and how it got the data, and just know that AI has really poor understanding of context. So even the Manus AI that I use, in the folder I have the About Us, the ICP, the tone. So it has the context of the brand and things like that. The Google ad, I'm not even going to log into that interface. I will simply select exact match key term, radius, send the traffic out to a funnel landing page. The landing page has no menu, unique form, unique phone number. Maybe I'll do 5 keywords, exact match. Exact match means I forbid Google to put anything before and after on the particular term that I'm targeting, because I know the term that I want. Why else would I want Google to spend my money on useless things? Look at this. It like just before here, further limit reach of your ads. It's who would dare to click that? I click on it because normally people firing up ads don't want to limit their ads. But if their budget is like $5, $100, even $1,000 a day, it's just a tiny budget compared to the 25 million people that we potentially could hit. So yes, we do want to further limit our ads. We want to laser focus on our ads. If I'm to give my brother my credit card, he's going to go to Chadstone and buy whatever he wants. No, I want you to go to Chadstone and I just want you to buy only this shop. Here is your budget, and you can only buy green socks at this time when it's on special and discount. Guess what? He's going to walk out with exactly what we need. Green socks on discount. If I don't, he's going to burn a lot of cash. We're gonna shop everything, useless stuff we don't need. That's the same thing that applies with Meta ads as well as Google ads. You want to laser focus your campaign and chip away at the non-negotiables first before slowly loosening the targeting. Month on month, we look at the data. Maybe we won't hit budget. Maybe the ads won't fire up. We just need to, that's where we'll pivot. I know that Zuck and Google hate the way I run ads because we're extremely tight with our targeting, which makes them less money. We still spend the money. We're just very selective where we allow that money to be spent. And the difference between my ads and a lot of the ads that I see is that they're getting the drips and drabs. Anybody that has gone through the Facebook ad interface or the Google ad interface, it's like filling out a tax with the ATO tax form, right? There's so many questions, and you know that ticking or unticking this will have some kind of repercussions down the track. What I see these days is my ads are laser focusing on keywords that matter. That means my cost per click is extremely high and quite scary, but I know that I'm laser focusing on this, which means everyone else is getting the drips and drabs. Hopefully that's been helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.